Good morning. So here we are for our fourth episode of Coffee and Camps, our little series to, well, get a look behind the scenes of the different camps of the Hamptons. And this morning, I am thrilled to welcome Aaron Goldschmidt. That's the German way of saying it. I hope that was correct.
I like
So, Aaron, I think most of you probably already know, Aaron is the brain, the heart, and the soul behind Shine Studios. Aaron, tell me a little bit about what is Shine? Like, since when has it been around? What is it?
Oh, it's a big question. Shine has been around. Honestly, we're sort of are celebrating our 20th year this year. So Shine started in New York City in 2005 as mobile arts classes. So we would just show up at someone's home for a small group of kids and run a variety of art classes. It actually started with kids cooking classes.
Oh, wow.
And it started expanding from there. And then in 2014, I started a summer camp program out here in the Hamptons. It had been a dream of mine to sort of evolve into doing summer programming. Also, I realized in working in the city for the kind of clients that I had, most of them weren't around in the summer. So I didn't really have any work. And I sort of had to figure out where everyone was going and what they were doing. And they were all leaving the city, and many of them were coming out to the Hamptons. I decided to come out here and, to figure out what was going on and what was happening in the camp market. And it was then that my focus started shifting from the city more to the East End. And I did the camp. And then a few years ago, I opened the studio here. So the Shine Studio is the first physical space for Shine, which has always been sort of a mobile business. And the camp was mobile for a long time too, before we had like a permanent location.
So tell me a little bit more. So the studio is in, what is that? Is that Bridgehampton, Sag Harbor?
The zip code is Bridgehampton, but it's right on the border of Bridge-Sag. It's on the Bridge-Sag Turnpike at Scuttle Hole. So if you know the area, it's very central here in the Hamptons. It's very easy to get to from Southampton, East Hampton, Sag Harbor, Bridgehampton. You can get here from the back roads. It was one of the things that made jumping on this space very appealing to me, was that it wasn't on a main road, that people could get here from, because we are small and we don't offer, although we are getting a van, we don't offer like big bus service. So, I wanted to make sure I had a space that wasn't so daunting for people to drive to and drop their children off to. So we're Bridgehampton by zip code. I like to say Sag Harbor because I live in Sag Harbor, but we ride the border between the two.
So tell me a little bit about summer camp, because there's so many different ways to do summer camps, and everybody has a different focus on what they think is important. So share a little bit about what that is for Shine.
Sure. Well, I'll take you back a little bit. When I first came out here, this is our 12th season. So when I first came out here to do some due diligence, there were really only 3 camps out here, 3 main camps. And what I realized then, and the case has changed now, but there weren't many small, creative camps, sort of teacher, artist-led, that felt that they catered to like the individual child. So that was really important to me, to sort of create a program, because not every child feels comfortable in a large camp setting, even if you like all of the things offered at large camps, especially younger children. Sometimes a really big camp doesn't feel right to every child, and some kids love it.
I have one of those children. Like my oldest son, he refuses to go to the big camps where I thought, well, but you get to do soccer, you get to do this and this and this, and that's exactly far too much for him. Yeah.
So I wanted to bring my love of the East End, my love of summer camps, my love of all of the things you get at big camps into a smaller program, but I wanted it to be really led creatively. So, I mean, it doesn't mean, and I think that there's a misconception all the time that we're an art camp or that we're an art studio. We're creative arts. And I mean, what that means is that we are really pushing children to think creatively, to become creative problem solvers. We certainly don't think that every kid that sort of comes through here is going to grow up to be a Picasso. We know that that's not the case. But what we are hoping is that we are giving children an opportunity to explore their interests, their passions, to have a little bit of autonomy in decision making throughout the day. We are very driven by the East End of Long Island. I think that very often in the summer out here, people tend to lose sight of what is so beautiful about the Hamptons and why so many people flock to get out here. And I make it a mission of ours to introduce our campers to the flora, the fauna, the history, the artists of the East End. And it shocks me that it's not just our families that come from other places that don't know about this. Sometimes our local families have no idea about the Lieber collection in East Hampton, or have never been to Medu and Sagaponack or Nova's Ark over here in Watermill. So what we do here is every Thursday we do a field trip to sort of an iconic East End location. Every Wednesday we bring in local artists or artisans to do a workshop for the kids. Every Tuesday, we spend the camp day at the LongHouse Reserve in East Hampton, which, if you know it, is truly one of the most beautiful and spectacular places, I think, in the world, but definitely out here on the East End. And I have an amazing partnership with LongHouse. They're very dear friends of mine. I have been running my programming there for a decade now. We do a lot of their children's programming for them. And we have access to their 16 acres just for us on Tuesdays. So it makes our camp really different. So we're here at the studio Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're out there in the Hamptons, exploring, learning, seeing things. Wednesdays, we bring in artists. Every Wednesday mornings, the South Fork Natural History Museum sends over people here to our studios. We're based right on the Long Pond Greenbelt trails. So we get people to come over and do science and nature with us right around our building. So we get to really tap into all of these amazing opportunities that the Hamptons have to offer us, and that allows us to then explore creatively, whether it's art or dance or music or play or games. We find that we get so inspired just by being here on the East End, and really tapping into what it offers. And I think people do that in the summer. They go to camp, they hang out at the bar, they have nice pools, but the East End really is a magical place. And I think we really hope to show that to families.
And yeah, so I think this whole getting in touch with like creative things and just living that creativity, I think, is really what makes people come back to you, right? And so how big are there, like if we look at summer camp, like how big are the groups? Like what does a day look like?
Sure. Well, let me just clarify a few things for people that know about the program. We have a couple of different camps within our umbrella of Shine Summer Camp. So we're one of the only camps that has a early childhood educator led mini camp for 2 to 4 year olds. So this is its own separate program for the youngest campers.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of my background is in bridge programming for 2 and 3 year olds. It's my favorite age group. And although I don't get to work with them as much in the summer because I'm running the circus that is summer camp, I feel really proud that we offer such an enriched program for this particular age group. So Our mini camp is very popular because we only accept 10 kids per day. We want to keep that group small. We have 3 teachers in that group, 1 to 2 of which are ECE certified. And then we usually have like some support staff as well. So that is one separate group. And while they're like around, they're separated from like our bigger, rowdier group of kids. So that camp is between like 4 and 11. And I would say that our days could vary really between anywhere from 15 to 40 kids, just
Hmm.
depending on the week and on the day. I pride myself in having a small camp. I've worked really hard all of these years to be able to sustain the business while maintaining sort of a small size in camp. I don't want to have 100, 200, 300 kids running around. I don't want to lose the personal connection that we have with our campers. I don't want to have to hire high school kids to be counselors. I think it's amazing. And I was a high school counselor. It's what got me started in my love of camps. But I pride myself in really working with educators and teaching artists. So I want to keep things small here. So, in our big camp, if we have 30 kids, that feels like a big day.
Yeah.
And within that 30 kids, we will separate the kids in a couple of different groups. So obviously our 4 to 6, 7 year olds are not doing art the same time as our 7 to 10 year olds are, because they have different abilities. But what I also really love about our program is that I really believe in a one-room schoolhouse kind of vibe. So I really like the times of the day where the whole camp is together and there is this community feeling, and like an older sibling gets to hang out with a younger sibling, or
Which is
a
great.
younger
Yeah.
kid hang out with older children and gets to learn from them, or you get to see in an older child how much they love to be a caretaker and help little kids with something. Creating that kind of community and spirit within the camp is really important to me, because Shine isn't just a summer camp or a year-round art program. It's sort of a philosophy that we have in creating community. So in allowing the camp to all be together for portions of the day, I think it really helps to create a kind of unity and community that's really nice to see amongst the children. And I think that's why a lot of people come back too, because siblings are very often separated
Yeah.
all year
True.
long, especially a lot of our families that come from New York City. Things are so rigid. Children are in different schools in different parts of town. And for them to be in a camp where they actually get to spend some time together and create together and have fun together, I think that's really appealing, and I think it creates a really nice feeling for families and for the children that are attending.
That's one of those things that you never think about when your children are little, and then you enter this whole camp thing, and then you suddenly realize, because the kids also, my boys are too, and they're 3.5 years apart. So that
Yeah, they'll
usually
never be.
means no, exactly. They're always in different groups. So that is very appealing, I feel, to know
Yeah, I
that.
think it's not for everybody. Listen, I have some
Oh no.
parents that call me up and say, you need to make sure my kids are separated all day long, or you're going to really regret it. And I appreciate that. But I mean, we're very self-selecting because we are a smaller camp. So generally, the people that are sending siblings here, that are 3.5 years apart, it's because they want them to have some
Yeah.
time together.
Yeah.
And we love to nurture those kind of relationships and see those sibling fights, but also see those siblings have time together that we know that they don't really get to spend
No.
during the year, unless they're exhausted at the end of the day, probably arguing because
Oh
they're
yeah.
exhausted at the end of
I
the
can
day.
attest to that. Yes, that's like just happening every night at my house. So, tell me again about the timing. When do we
Yeah.
start? Is there a half day? Is there a full day? Like, how
Yeah.
is this? And do I
So,
have to book a full week, or can I come
yeah.
in per day?
Kim, I'm telling this to you and your community because I love you. But I don't like to tell everybody this. But we are an extraordinarily flexible camp, and that again, I've also worked really, really hard to maintain a level of flexibility because our clientele, our families, they also have flexible lives. They might want to spend one day a week with their children. They might want to take a vacation. They might want to do things during the week. And not everybody wants to go to camp 5 days a week. We have people coming from the city that are only here Fridays and Mondays. So I wanted to create a program that allowed people to pick and choose and create a schedule that worked for them. It makes it extraordinarily difficult for us. I'm going to be honest. We have put a lot more rules in place to try to rein it in and make it a little bit easier to manage. But to break it down for you, essentially, our mini camp for the 2 to 4 year olds is 9 to 12. That's it, you know.
Enough.
Our older kid camp is 9 to 3. So that's a full day. If you want anything shorter than that, 9 to 12 or 9 to 1, that could be worked out for you. But basically, we can work out any hours that you want, you know. Anything after 1 o'clock, you can just pay for the full day and pick your kid up anytime you want. But we will work with you on the hours that work best for you within a certain.
Of course, it has to make sense. Yeah.
But no, you also don't have to sign up for the whole week. You can pick and choose the days that work for you. If you're coming from Southampton, and we really appreciate our families that travel, and getting to LongHouse, which is only 10 minutes from the studio, but might be 20 minutes longer for you if you're coming from and if you don't want to come on Tuesdays, you don't have to come Tuesdays. Or we have families that just want to come on Tuesdays because they live in East Hampton. They're very close to
down the street. Yeah.
We honor all of that up until the time that camp starts. And then when we're in the thick of it, you need to give us 24 hours notice, or there's sort of an expedited, I'm dropping in 5-hour fee. Like, we can't really run a camp if people are just dropping in and showing up all the time. But with 24 hours notice, we will let people come to camp, assuming that we have space. You can right now go to our registration platform and sign up for any days, any weeks that you want. And if you have specific time requests that aren't the ones that are on the registration platform, just send an email and reach out to us and we'll work with you. We have it all kind of worked out behind the scenes. It's a lot of information to put out there for people when we're trying to sort of streamline the information. And all of this information is found on the Hampton Summer Camps page of our website. Very, very clear. All of our policies, rules, all of that. So any questions?
I have to say that really is, let me see if I can pull this up. I should be able to, but I don't trust my system these days. But we had it before and we'll find it again. I think that is important because I feel so many times you feel like you have to reach out as a parent to ask for every little detail, and sometimes you don't want to. So I always feel that is a very, very good idea. Here we are.
It's a lot of emails.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the things are different. We have a family camp also, which is caregiver or parent. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes. So that's even for younger kids. We have camp in June. We're one of the only programs that starts June camp Monday, June 2nd, for all of our families that come from California or Florida or people that get out of school early here. So this page explains the different camp programs, and then beneath it, all of the rules and policies and questions that you might have. I really do encourage families to go look at this page first. It's got a lot of information, pretty streamlined. And then by all means, if you have questions beyond this, if you want to know anything else, reach out directly. I love talking about our camp. Can't tell.
No. But thanks for mentioning it. So the counselors and training program, I always like to look at that too, because for older kids,
me too.
Especially if you live here year round, so then that brings in a new layer of things to do. So tell me a little bit about the counselors and training program.
I will. again, I grew up as a summer camp, like a day camp kid, and CITing was like really important. And listen, it's really hard to be a tween nowadays. You're sort of addicted to your technology. Like, there's not really much you want to do in the summer. A lot of tweens don't really want to go to summer camp. So I wanted to create an opportunity for, kids 11 to 13 to come. It's a discounted rate from our regular camp rate to come have the opportunity to make, play, and create a little bit here at the studio, but also have the opportunity to get some real life skills, help out with our mini camp program, get some responsibilities, be asked to do a few things here at the studio. We're also looking always to get staff here in the future. You mentioned year round. We're a year round studio and we do parties and events all weekend. We have camps throughout the year. We have after school programming here. So to get high school kids that want to be here or that want to work here as an after school job, it's great to meet. It's great to meet this age group and find out if they're interested in this. But also, it gives parents who need their 11 or 12-year-olds to be doing something a chance for them to have a little bit more independence. It's not quite a job. It's not quite camp, but it's like in between the two. And we've had great success with it. We've had CITs come back like every summer for that age group. And then at 14, you can actually start working. And if you get work papers at 14, we can pay you and you can sort of work here in the summer a little bit. So we now have some 14-year-olds that are going to be like working here this summer who have been campers, then CITers, and now I'll be paying them. So.
Well, I really think this, I mean, it always comes down to the community aspect, right? And
whoever for me, that's so important. This community is so important to me, and it feels like a family. And having kids come back year after year, and us getting to know them, and listen, come once, if that's all. But we find that our return rate is pretty high because we do create a sense of family and community here that people really look forward to coming back to in the summer, even if it's just for a week or two in their bounce around of many different camps. We find that kids really enjoy, and families really enjoy coming back here. And because we do start so young, they have a chance to really kind of grow up here, and we get to meet kids when they're 2 or 3, and know them when they're 9. I mean, I have a young woman working for me. I just saw her in the city. I was her teacher when she was 2 years old in New York City. God. She has come to my camp out here. She has worked at my camp. She is now a college graduate and she works in publishing, and she still comes and works for me part-time on weekends doing events in the city. And it's creating that kind of community is so important for me. Aside from all of the amazing things that we do at camp, which I am happy to continue to talk about, but our mission at Shine is really to, create a better world, and to help people, children especially, really shine their light. And you do that by creating a strong community. So that's what we try to do here. Our CIT program is a great example of that. Yeah,
it seems to be. And speaking of community, because I think one of the things often for the parents who live here year round is pricing. So because you look at all the camp prices and then you pass out when you move into the whole camp space and you start looking into it, you're like, oh. So how are you doing with pricing? Because obviously you have a community that goes around the year. Is there like a local thing? Is there do you want people to reach out? How do you do that?
Oh, I will tell you, I mean, this is my 12th summer, and our prices for camp have barely fluctuated in 12 years. Oh. So I will just say that because it's been really important for me to try to keep my camp price as sort of even and as within the middle of what camps cost out here. Yeah. And ours is by far not one of the most expensive ones. But I do understand that for working class families, for regular local families, of which I am one, camp is daunting, and when you have two children and when you need camp because you're working parents, it's I can't imagine. So I will say about that a couple of things. Obviously, I don't want camp price to ever be a reason that a child who really feels that Shine and that Shine Camp and that this environment is the right place for them doesn't have an opportunity to come here and experience it. So we offer scholarship, we offer local pricing, we have a discount for locals. We have a lot of different discounts we give out. We gave out insane early bird discounts, really encouraging people to get on camp early. It helps us plan and organize if people can get on camp early. So we do give local discounts, we do give scholarships, and we do open ourselves to having conversations with anybody who feels like this is a place and a program where they feel that they really fit in, where they want to be included and they can't afford, then we will have those conversations. But ultimately, I'm running a summer camp in the Hamptons, a very small one, and there is only so far I can go on price. And I have to say, if you're looking for a camp, that you can send your three children to because you're a working family, a lot of the camps out here, unfortunately, are not the camps, and that is hard. And we're trying to work on this as a community to figure out how to make this easier for our local families and our working families. So I am open to that conversation, and we're always trying to figure out how to address this in a way that doesn't devalue our business and our programming and the work we're trying to do, but also show that we are a part of the year-round community and that we do want to be here and that we're not just coming in for summer camp trying to make the money. We're not. I mean, I am trying to exist here in this space throughout the whole year. So this is a bigger conversation, but we do offer local discounts. If you are enrolled in Suffolk County Public School, we give you a local discount. We give teachers a very large discount.
I love that. Yes, I heard that, and I think that's great.
Or if you work, obviously, if you are someone who is a community helper, a policeman, a fireman, a teacher, we ask you to let us know. A doctor, anybody who's like front line, let us know. We really want to respond to our community. So yeah, 100%.
Well, you are. You are.
We are there for anyone who wants to be here. We're not just going to give out free camp to everyone who asks, because this is not this place is for everybody.
And again, I think that would be not valuing what you offer too.
Affordable for you, just let us know and we'll figure out how to get you.
The great thing really is that you do have Saturday camps too. So if somebody feels like, I just want to give it a try and see, because with kids, I mean, I think we've all been there that we thought, whoa, this is a great camp and we're going to send them there. And then you have a screaming child who's refusing to go. And you're like, well, but we paid like really a lot of money. So it is great that there are chances to actually test this, right?
We did Saturday camp again more as a response to our community and to a lot of families who do go to other camps but love Shine and want to make sure that they get a day
squeeze
here,
it in there
from the city. But also it just like it's summer and sometimes parents they want a weekend together, for a few hours, especially working parents. It's nice to be able to have a Saturday camp option because it's not a work day. So maybe
you
parents
will not hear an argument from me on that.
Their own day together. So, and again, we try to capitalize on having this incredible studio space we have. And we are small. So how can we maximize the space, keep our numbers small, and offer things that the community wants? So not only do we have Saturday camp running regular camp hours, we start an hour later on Saturdays. We start at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Fair.
We also have after camp, which is sort of like open studio drop-in, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 3 to 5:30. So any day so if you're in camp with us here and you need an extended day, you can sign up for that. Or if you go to another camp and you just want to come hang out at the Shine studio for 2 hours, you can do that Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And we book that in half-hour increments. So you can come check out the studio, come hang out, make art, meet some friends here from other camps. Again, this kind of community idea.
Yeah.
Why not book Shine on Wednesdays for all the friends that are doing all these other things in the summer? Come here, make some art, play outside, check out the new garden that we have, do some planting, and see your friends. So there's a lot of opportunities to shine all summer, you know. We do movie nights here at the studio once a month. You know, we have a lot of other different things besides camp, just to sort of pull people in and create this community that I'm talking about.
Well, I think anybody who is trying to create something for kids or grown-ups, for that matter, to bring it together a community knows how much work goes into that. And so thank you for what you're doing. I really do think that especially these smaller camps, you're doing an amazing job because you're doing it on top of everything else and not for just a large amount of money and then let's milk the summer and get out. So really, thank you for that, because I do think all these different options make it really special, and it's great to find something that fits your child. So, and I think I have two totally different children that want totally different things. So it is great to have all these options. We will link all the information, the website, a PDF with the most important details to this whole interview. And
I feel like I spoke a lot, and I feel like I didn't even talk about so much what happens during camp. So if there's any questions about that, please reach out. We have so many fabulous activities that happen during the week. We have art specialists running the art studio Mondays and Fridays. We have really awesome things that happen. So aside from all this community talk, any questions about what we do during the day, all of our creative endeavors, I encourage your listeners and your community to reach out and just ask, and we'd be happy to
Absolutely.
share.
The website lists a lot too. And you talked about LongHouse and you talked about field trips. Where do you take those field trips to?
I mean, every Thursday it's a different one. So we have 10 different field trips lined up for the summer. So it's a surprise. But again, we'll tell you because maybe it's too far for you to go one day. So we have them planned. And if you don't want to book a Thursday field trip, that's a choice you could make.
Okay, so the parents, obviously, drop their kids off at that location, wherever that is. And then
drop off as at locations. But again, we try to keep everything. We're not having anyone drive to Montauk or Riverhead. Everything is pretty, within like 10 minutes of our studio space.
Well, and I think the other thing we can say is that you will end up with quite a lot of awesome artwork. I mean, I got a really nice bowl for Mother's Day.
You like it? Yeah, he worked very hard on it.
Really loved it. And
it was Hamptons Boss Moms branded also, you know? He was very adamant about making it HBM.
Yeah. So all in all, thank you for this conversation. Yes, we could talk a lot longer, but I feel like thank you for the option of people being able to reach out. You can also connect via Instagram. Obviously, we're linking the account there too, so that people can follow up what's happening in between. And well, thank you for joining me today and sharing about all of that. I loved listening, and I didn't even have to ask that many questions because you were covering. So thank you. And thank you for being so enthusiastic about what you do and working with that many kids. I mean, I watched you do it, and I really salute you because my two children at times are too much for me, and you're handling a lot more. So
well, I love your children very much. You're doing a great job because they're really incredible kids.
Well, thank you. I'll try. Cool. So thank you a lot. We'll, again, put everything underneath it. And then if people have questions, they can reach out.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, you too. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.